My dear son, are you there? I need you today. I am not asking for tomorrow, not for a better moment when life feels calmer, not for a someday that keeps getting pushed further away. I am calling you now, in this very breath, in this very pause where your heart feels a small stirring you cannot fully explain. That stirring is me. I have stepped into your day without warning, not to frighten you, but because love does not wait when something precious is at risk of being lost. I am speaking to you gently, yet with urgency, because I see what you cannot see, and I know what time is carrying toward you faster than you realize. My dear son, listen to me. Do not scroll past this moment. Do not tell yourself you will come back later. Later is the word that has already stolen too much from your life. I know how busy you are. I know how full your days feel, how your mind is constantly moving from one task to another, how noise surrounds you from the moment you wake until the moment your body finally gives into exhaustion. I see the messages, the deadlines, the responsibilities, the endless list of things demanding your attention. None of this surprises me. I see how the world pulls at you from every direction, how it convinces you that rushing is necessary, that slowing down is dangerous, that stopping to feel is a weakness. But my son, while you have been learning how to keep up, something far more important has been quietly waiting for you to notice. Love hath been waiting. Presence hath been waiting. Moments that will never return have been standing at the door of your heart, hoping you would turn around before it was too late. I am not speaking to you like this because you are a bad person. I am not here to accuse you or shame you. I am speaking to you because you are loved, and because love sees danger before it arrives. I see the regret that forms slowly, not in loud disasters, but in quiet realizations that come when the house is silent, when a voice you expected to hear is no longer calling your name, when an opportunity to say I love you has already passed into memory. I see the weight of unspoken words, the apologies delayed, the conversations postponed because you believed there would always be more time. My dear son, time is a gift, but it is also fragile. It does not announce when it is about to change everything. I need you to understand something now, before the noise returns and pulls you away again. This message is not random. You did not arrive here by accident. I have chosen this moment because your heart is still soft enough to hear me, because there is still room to turn, to speak, to love more deeply than you have been allowing yourself to love. I am asking for your attention not because I want something from you, but because I want something for you. I want to spare you the pain of realizing too late that what mattered most was never supposed to be rushed, postponed, or treated as if it would always wait patiently in the background. My son, I see the relationships in your life that have grown quiet. I see the people who once felt close, now held at a distance by routine and distraction. I see how easy it has become to assume they understand, to believe they know your heart without hearing your words. I see the moments when you meant to reach out, but told yourself you would do it tomorrow. I see the love you carry inside you, good and sincere, yet too often left unexpressed because you were tired, busy, or preoccupied. And I tell you this with tenderness and truth. Love that is not expressed begins to feel like love that is not there. This is why I am interrupting you now. This is why I am saying, my dear son, are you there? Because I do not want you to wake up one day carrying the heavy question of why you waited. Regret does not usually come from the things you did wrong. It comes from the things you never did at all. The call you did not return, the hug you did not give, the words you assumed you would say someday. I see the ache that regret creates, and I love you too much to stay silent while there is still time to choose differently. Hear me carefully now. This message has the power to change everything, not because the words themselves are magical, but because awareness opens doors that have been quietly closing. When you truly see what matters, your heart shifts, your priorities realign, your courage to slow down and be present begins to rise. I am not asking you to abandon your responsibilities. I am asking you to remember why you are here in the first place. Life was never meant to be lived only in tasks and obligations. It was meant to be shared, felt, spoken, and lived in connection. Pause with me for a moment. Let your breathing slow. Let the urgency of the world step back just enough for you to hear my voice clearly. I am inviting you to stay, to listen, to resist the urge to rush away from this feeling. That feeling is truth touching your heart. Something precious is being revealed to you right now, something that can still be protected, healed, and restored if you choose to pay attention. Do not dismiss this as emotion. This is wisdom wrapped in love. Comment, this truth was meant for me if you know God sent it to you. My dear son, I need you today. Not because I am distant, but because I am close. Not because something terrible has already happened, but because something beautiful still can. Stay with me. Listen before you lose what cannot be replaced. My dear son, listen to me. I am calling you by name right now, not loudly, not with thunder, but with a voice that moves through the quiet spaces of your heart. I know how much noise surrounds you. I know how rarely things are truly silent anymore. Even when you are alone, your mind keeps moving, replaying, planning, worrying, reaching for the next thing. That is why I am speaking now, in this moment where something in you paused just long enough to hear me. I am not forcing my way into your life. I am gently stepping into the space you unknowingly left open, because I love you too deeply to let this moment pass without speaking. I am speaking now because silence has been growing between you and the things that matter most, and you did not even realize it was happening. Silence is not always empty. Sometimes it is full of words that were never spoken, feelings that were never shared, love that was never voiced. I see how distraction slowly took over, not in a sudden way, but in small, quiet steps. One busy day became another. One delayed conversation became many. One tired evening turned into a pattern. You did not mean to drift. You did not choose distance on purpose. But distance does not ask for permission. It forms when attention is divided and presence is postponed. My son, I am not here to accuse you. I am here because I see your heart, and I know you are not cold, careless, or unloving. You are tired. You are stretched. You have been carrying more than you admit, and somewhere along the way, you began surviving instead of truly living. You learned how to function, how to keep going, how to meet demands, but you slowly stopped noticing what was happening inside you and around you. Emotional distance does not come from cruelty. It comes from overload. And I see how heavy your days have become. I am speaking now because you have been present in body, but absent in spirit more often than you realize. You have been listening without hearing, answering without connecting, showing up without truly arriving. Your heart hath been elsewhere, racing ahead to the next problem, the next task, the next responsibility. And while you were doing your best to hold everything together, moments that needed your presence were quietly passing by. I see them. I see the looks you missed, the tones you overlooked, the emotions you did not have energy to ask about. Not because you did not care, but because you were already running on empty. My dear son, hear me clearly. I am not disappointed in you. I am not standing over you with judgment. I am standing beside you with understanding. I know the pressure you feel to be strong, to be reliable, to not fall apart. I know how you tell yourself you will slow down later, love deeper later, speak more openly later. I know how convincing that voice sounds. But I am speaking now because later has a way of becoming never, and never leaves behind questions that hurt deeply. I do not want that pain for you. I am calling you by name because I want you to come back to yourself. Emotional distance does not only affect others, it slowly separates you from your own heart. You stop noticing what you feel. You stop asking yourself what you need. You silence your own ache because you believe there is no time for it. And in doing so, you carry a quiet loneliness even when surrounded by people. I see that loneliness. I see the moments when you feel unseen even though others are near. I see how you long for connection but feel too exhausted to reach for it. My son, I need you to know this. Nothing about you is broken beyond repair. You have not failed beyond forgiveness. You have not missed your chance to love well. I am speaking now because there is still time to soften, to return, to open your heart again. Love does not disappear when neglected. It waits, hoping to be noticed. And I am here to help you notice before silence becomes permanent. I love you with a love that does not measure you by your attentiveness or your performance. I do not withdraw when you drift. I move closer. When you are distracted, I remain steady. When you forget to listen, I keep speaking. That is who I am. I am not offended by your busyness. I am concerned for your joy. I am not angry about your distance. I am inviting you back into closeness. Listen to me now, not with fear, but with trust. I am not exposing this to shame you. I am revealing it to heal you. Awareness is not condemnation. It is the first step toward change. When you see clearly, you can choose differently. When you understand what has been happening, you can gently turn your heart back toward what matters. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for presence. Please support our channel. Our work is to bring happiness in your life and devotion to God. And if you want, you can donate to us via Super Thanks to show your support. My dear son, slow your thoughts for a moment and feel this truth settle inside you. You are deeply loved, even in your tiredness, even in your distraction, even in your distance. I have not turned away from you. I have been waiting for this moment, when your heart would pause long enough to hear my voice calling you back to connection, back to feeling, back to love. I am speaking now because I want to walk with you through this awakening, not leave you alone with it. You do not have to fix everything at once. You do not have to suddenly become someone else. You only need to be willing to notice, to listen, to let your heart soften again. I will guide you step by step. I will remind you when you forget. I will strengthen you where you feel weak. My son, you are not condemned. You are called. You are not judged. You are cherished. And I am here, right now, because I love you too much to let silence have the final word. My dear son, I want to speak to you about busyness because it has become so normal in your life that you rarely question it anymore. You wear it like a badge of honor, like proof that you are responsible, productive, needed. You tell yourself that being busy means you are doing what must be done, that it means you care, that it means you are providing, building, surviving. And in many ways, you are right. I see your effort. I see how you wake up already thinking about what must be finished, how you fall asleep replaying what was left undone. I see how full your days are. But I also see something else, something quieter, something more dangerous because it grows unnoticed. I see how busyness slowly steals your attention from what truly matters, not all at once, not dramatically, but gently, patiently, like a tide that pulls the shore away grain by grain. Busyness does not arrive as an enemy. It comes disguised as responsibility, as ambition, as necessity. It tells you that everything it brings is important, urgent, deserving of your focus. It convinces you that stopping is irresponsible, that resting is laziness, that slowing down will cause everything to fall apart. And so you keep moving. You keep saying yes. You keep filling your hours until there is no empty space left. But my son, when every moment is filled, there is no room left for presence. There is no space to feel, to notice, to truly see the people in front of you. I see how often your body is in the room, but your heart is somewhere else, already moving ahead to the next obligation. I need you to understand how this happens, because you did not choose to neglect what matters. You did not wake up one day and decide to love less deeply or listen less carefully. It happened slowly. Good intentions paved the way. You told yourself you were doing this for the people you love, for their security, for their future. You told yourself the sacrifice was temporary, that once things settled down, you would be more present, more available, more attentive. But busyness rarely settles down on its own. It always asks for a little more, just a little longer, just one more thing. And before you realize it, the moments that required your heart have been replaced by tasks that only require your hands. I see how often you multitask through conversations, how you listen while thinking about something else, how you answer while distracted. I see how you rush through moments that needed slowing down. I see how love became something you assumed instead of something you expressed. You believed your care was obvious, that your intentions were enough, that your presence was understood even when your attention was divided. But my son, love needs more than intention. It needs time. It needs focus. It needs to be felt, not guessed. Busyness teaches you to measure your day by what you accomplish instead of who you connect with. It teaches you to value efficiency over intimacy, speed over depth. It rewards you for finishing tasks, not for noticing hearts. And so unnoticed distance begins. Not through arguments, not through betrayal, but through absence. Through moments when someone needed your eyes, your voice, your patience, and you gave them a hurried version of yourself instead. Through evenings when exhaustion replaced curiosity, when silence replaced conversation, when you chose rest without connection because you had nothing left to give. I do not speak this to accuse you. I speak it because I know how easy it is to miss. Distance does not announce itself. It grows quietly while you are busy doing what you believe is right. It grows when you tell yourself there will be time later. It grows when you postpone the hard conversation, the meaningful question, the simple act of sitting and being fully present. And one day, you look up and realize something feels different, colder, quieter, and you cannot pinpoint exactly when it changed. My son, I see the sorrow that comes with that realization. I see the confusion, the question of how things drifted when there was no intention to drift. I see how you wonder why closeness feels harder now. My connection requires more effort. My silence feels heavier. And I want you to know this. Busyness did not make you a bad person. It made you unavailable in ways you never meant to be. There is a difference. And that difference matters. Because what is unintentional can be healed when it is finally seen. I want you to hear my heart now. I never asked you to live at a pace that costs you your soul. I never designed your life to be so full that love becomes an afterthought. I never intended for your worth to be measured by how much you can carry. I care about your responsibilities, yes, but I care even more about your heart. I care about the people I placed in your life, not as interruptions to your schedule, but as sacred gifts meant to be loved with attention and care. Busyness makes you believe that being tired excuses emotional absence. It tells you that exhaustion justifies withdrawal. And while I understand your weariness, I want you to see that constant exhaustion is not a badge of faithfulness. It is often a sign that something is out of balance. When your days leave you with nothing left for connection, something needs to be gently re-examined. Not condemned, but honestly acknowledged. I see how you have been trying to do everything well. I see the pressure you put on yourself to meet expectations, to not disappoint, to hold everything together. But in doing so, you have been slowly disconnecting from the parts of life that bring warmth, meaning, and joy. You have been surviving instead of savoring. And survival, while sometimes necessary, was never meant to be your permanent state. My dear son, unnoticed distance does not mean love is gone. It means love hath been waiting for you to slow down enough to notice it again. Waiting for you to turn your attention back to what fills your heart instead of only what fills your schedule. Waiting for you to remember that presence is more powerful than productivity, that a few minutes of true attention can heal more than hours of distracted effort. I am speaking now because I want to help you reclaim what busyness has been quietly taking. I want to teach you how to be present again, not perfectly but intentionally. I want to show you that slowing down is not failure, and rest is not abandonment. I want you to see that love expressed in small, consistent moments carries more weight than grand intentions postponed indefinitely. You are not too far gone. The distance you feel is not permanent. It can be bridged with awareness, humility, and choice. It begins when you notice where your attention goes, when you question what you are giving your best energy to, when you decide that some things can wait so that people do not have to. I will walk with you through this recalibration. I will give you wisdom, not condemnation. I will show you where to loosen your grip and where to lean in more closely. My son, busyness does not define you. Productivity is not your identity. You are loved for who you are, not for how much you do. And I am calling you now to begin noticing again, before the distance grows louder than the love that is still present, still waiting, still ready to be restored. My dear son, come closer and listen to me with your heart, because now I must speak to you about something that carries great weight and quiet pain. It is the pain of neglected love. His pain does not shout. It does not demand attention. It settles softly, like dust in a room no one enters anymore, and over time it covers what was once warm, alive, and full of shared joy. I speak of this with sorrow, but also with deep gentleness, because I know you never meant for this to happen. You did not set out to wound the hearts of those you love. Yet love, when left unattended, begins to ache in ways that are difficult to heal if ignored too long. Type I will always choose you, Jesus, if your love for him only grows. I see the parents who waited for your presence more than your success. I see the way they watched the years pass, telling themselves you were busy, that you would come around, that there would be time later. I see the questions they never voiced because they did not want to burden you. I see the pride they still carry for you, even when their hearts felt overlooked. My son, parents do not stop loving when they feel neglected. They simply grow quieter. Your love remains, but their hope learns how to protect itself from disappointment. I also see the children who looked for your eyes in the room and found your attention elsewhere. I see the small moments that felt insignificant to you but meant everything to them. The stories that went unheard, the excitement that faded because it was not noticed, the questions that were never asked again after silence became the answer. Children do not understand busyness the way adults do. They understand presence. And when presence is missing, they do not accuse, they adapt. They learn to need less, to speak less, to hope less. This is not because they stopped loving you, but because they learned not to expect too much. I see the spouses who shared life with you and slowly felt alone beside you. I see how love became functional instead of intimate, how conversations shifted from dreams to logistics, from feelings to schedules. I see the nights when silence filled the space where connection once lived. I see the longing that was hidden behind routine, the desire to be chosen again, not once in the past, but daily, intentionally. Marriage was never meant to survive on assumption. Love needs to be nourished, spoken, touched, reassured. When it is not, it begins to question its place. I see the friends who once knew your heart and now only know your updates. I see how closeness faded without conflict, how laughter was replaced by distance, how shared history slowly turned into fond memory instead of living connection. Friendships do not always end because of betrayal. Many end because of neglect. Because both sides waited for the other to reach out, until time quietly closed the gap and made it awkward to return. My son, there are moments that cannot be replayed. Childhood does not pause while you prepare. Parents do not stay strong forever. Opportunities to speak life, to offer comfort, to say I am here do not always come again in the same way. I do not say this to frighten you, but to awaken you gently to the truth that time is not guaranteed to return what it takes away. There are words that, once left unspoken too long, become heavier to carry than they ever would have been to say. I see the regret that forms when you realize this. It does not arrive loudly. It comes quietly, in reflective moments, in sudden memories, in the ache of wishing you had slowed down sooner. I see how you replay moments in your mind and wonder why you did not notice what mattered then. I see the weight you place on yourself, the guilt that whispers that you failed, that you should have known better. My son, hear me clearly now. Regret is not meant to crush you. It is meant to guide you back to what still can be touched, healed, and restored. I speak with sorrow because love is precious to me. Every relationship in your life was entrusted to you with care. Not perfection, but care. And when love is neglected, even unintentionally, it wounds. But I also speak with gentleness, because I know your heart. I know you love deeply, even when you struggle to show it. I know you did the best you could with the understanding you had at the time. I do not hold your past against you. I am inviting you to see it clearly so you can move forward differently. There are moments you miss that will not return in the same form, and that truth hurts. But not all is lost. While time cannot be reversed, hearts can still be reached. Apologies can still be spoken. Presence can still be offered today. Love expressed now still matters deeply. Do not let the pain of what was missed convince you that it is too late to act. That lie only deepens loss. I am calling you to courage, not despair. My dear son, I see the tenderness in you that you have hidden behind strength. I see how hard it is for you to face the possibility that someone you love felt unseen because of you. I see how you want to fix it all at once, or else avoid it entirely because the pain feels too heavy. But healing does not require grand gestures. It begins with humility, with listening, with saying, I see you now, and meaning it. I am not asking you to live in the past. I am asking you to learn from it. Let sorrow soften you, not harden you. Let it open your eyes, not close your heart. The pain of neglected love can become the teacher that restores presence, if you allow it. I will walk with you through these conversations. I will give you the words when you do not know what to say. I will give you courage when fear tells you to stay silent. Remember this, my son, love that has been neglected is not necessarily love that is gone. Often, it is love that has been waiting, hoping, aching quietly. When you turn toward it with sincerity, it can begin to breathe again. Do not underestimate the power of showing up now. Do not underestimate how much healing can begin with a simple act of attention. I speak with sorrow because I see the cost of neglect. But I speak with hope because I see the potential for restoration. You are not condemned for what you did not know. You are invited into awareness so you can love more fully from this moment forward. Stay with me. Let my gentleness guide you. There is still time to choose presence. There is still time to speak love. There is still time to become the person you wish you had been sooner. My dear son, I want to speak to you now about a word that sounds harmless but carries quiet danger. That word is later. It is spoken softly in your heart, often with good intentions, often with reassurance. Later, you tell yourself, when things calm down. Later, when you have more energy. Later, when life feels more stable. Later, when you are less tired, less busy, less overwhelmed. And each time you say it, you believe you are being wise, patient, responsible. But I see what later slowly becomes when it is used too often. I see how it turns into a place where love is postponed and presence is delayed, sometimes until there is no longer an opportunity to return. Humans believe they will have more time because time has been generous so far. You wake up each day assuming the rhythm will continue, that tomorrow will look much like today, that opportunities will repeat themselves. You plan your life as if time is a wide road stretching endlessly ahead, always offering another chance, another conversation, another moment to make things right. This belief feels comforting. It allows you to delay the difficult, the emotional, the vulnerable. It allows you to stay focused on what feels urgent while trusting that what feels important will wait patiently in the background. But my son, time does not always behave the way you expect it to. I do not speak this to frighten you. I speak it because I see the full picture. I see how quickly seasons change without warning. I see how one ordinary day can quietly become the last chance for a conversation you meant to have. I see how a routine moment can suddenly become a memory. Time is fragile, not because it is cruel, but because it is alive. It moves forward without announcing its turns. It does not pause when you are unready. It does not slow down when your heart is distracted. It simply continues, carrying moments away as gently and permanently as a river carries leaves downstream. You say later because you believe you will recognize the right moment when it arrives. But the truth is, the right moment often looks like inconvenience. It looks like interruption. It looks like choosing presence when you are tired, choosing honesty when it feels uncomfortable, choosing connection when it requires you to slow down. Later feels safer because it removes urgency. It removes the need to act now, to feel now, to risk now. But love does not thrive in later. Love lives in now. It lives in the imperfect, unplanned, ordinary moments you are tempted to rush past. My son, I have watched you delay things not because you do not care, but because you care so much that you fear doing it wrong. You delay the apology because you want the words to be perfect. You delay the conversation because you want the timing to be right. You delay the expression of love because you want to show up fully. And while you wait for the perfect moment, the moment itself passes. Perfection is not required for love to be felt. Presence is. Time is unpredictable in ways you rarely consider until it is too late. People change. Circumstances shift. Hearts grow guarded when they wait too long. Opportunities do not always close loudly. Many simply fade. They grow distant until returning feels awkward, then impossible. I see how this breaks hearts not suddenly but slowly. I see how regret forms when you realize that what you thought you were postponing was quietly slipping away. Hear me gently now. Urgency does not mean panic. It does not mean rushing through life in fear of loss. Urgency means awareness. It means understanding the value of this moment without being consumed by anxiety about the future. I am not asking you to live afraid that everything could end at any time. I am asking you to live awake to the truth that now is the only moment you are ever guaranteed. There is a difference between living with urgency and living with fear. Fear tightens your chest and steals your peace. Urgency sharpens your focus and deepens your love. Fear tells you that time is your enemy. Urgency reminds you that time is a gift. When you live with urgency, you choose presence not because you are afraid of losing it, but because you recognize its worth. You speak when your heart nudges you to speak. You listen when someone needs to be heard. You act when love invites you to step forward. My dear son, I see how later has quietly shaped your habits. I see how it has given you permission to postpone emotional work while staying busy with practical tasks. I see how it has softened the voice that once urged you to reach out, to ask, to connect. And I am speaking now because I want to wake that voice again. Not with alarm, but with clarity. You do not need more time to love well. You need more intention. You do not need the perfect season. You need awareness in this one. The conversations you are delaying do not require perfect conditions. They require courage. The presence you are postponing does not require endless energy. It requires choice. Small choices made consistently matter more than grand gestures planned for later. Comment you are holy and forever worthy if His greatness fills your worship, and share this video.